Welcome to the Collin College Cooking Show. Today, I'm going to show you how to make pâte brisée, a delicious short crust that's perfect for pies and tarts. To make this pâte brisée, you're going to need a few basic ingredients. First, you'll need 480 grams of cold butter cut into medium-sized chunks. Next, 630 grams of sifted all-purpose flour. You'll need 1 egg, 12 grams of salt, and 90 grams of ice-cold water. Once all your ingredients are ready, it's really easy to make the pâte brisée. First, you're gonna put your flour into your mixing bowl. And if your flour wasn't already sifted like mine is, then you could just sift it directly into the bowl. Now I'm gonna get this, this bowl into the mixer. There we go. And use the paddle attachment. I'm gonna put this on speed 2. So just kind of stirring the flour. And now I'm gonna add in the butter while the mixer is going. All right, so now all of my butter is in the flour. The mixer is doing its job. I'm gonna wash the butter off of my hands and then move on to the next step. Now that I have clean hands, I'm ready to move on to the next step. I'm going to mix together my water, egg, and salt. First thing I'm gonna do is crack this egg. And I'm doing that in a separate bowl so that just in case there's any shell that gets in there, I can take it out. Now I've got the egg, the water, and the salt. And I'm just gonna whisk those together. And I'm doing this while the mixer is running because it takes a while for the mixer to go. All right, so now this liquid mixture is all mixed together. I'm just gonna wait until the flour and butter are at the consistency that I like, and then I can combine them. All right, now the butter and flour are looking pretty good, so I'm gonna turn the mixer off. And I'll take this bowl out of here to show you what it's supposed to look like, but normally you wouldn't need to take the bowl out of the mixer. All right, so now I'm gonna get this mixer bowl back in the mixer. Get it latched in. Put the paddle back. And I'm gonna turn the mixer back on so that I can add in this liquid. So I'll just pour it in while the mixer is still running on that same stir speed. And that's everything that goes into the dough. I'm gonna let the mixer do its job until the dough all comes together, but I don't wanna overmix it, so I'm gonna keep a close eye on it to make sure I don't run the mixer too long. Now that my dough is done mixing, I'm gonna pull it out of the mixer and wrap it up in some plastic wrap. And the reason that I am gonna wrap this in plastic wrap is so that I can put it in the refrigerator and the dough can chill before I bake it. It doesn't need to be a perfect circle. I just want kind of a circle shape, so I have less work to do later. And I'm also flattening it out some more so that I, again, don't have to do extra work later. I can kind of press it out with my hands now, and then I have less rolling out to do later. now the dough's ready to go in the fridge. Okay, now my dough is chilled and I'm ready to roll it out so that I can line my tart pan. Just gonna unwrap it. And I'm gonna roll it out on some parchment paper just so that it's a little less messy on my table. And I've got some flour that I can use to keep the dough from sticking to my work surface or to my rolling pin. So get some of that underneath and on top. And now I'm ready to roll. And I'm looking to roll this out until it gets to be an 1/8 inch thick or about a 1/4 inch thick, somewhere in there. But I also want it to be big enough to fit into my tart pan. Stay, okay. So this is starting to get a little sticky on the bottom, so I'm gonna put a little bit more flour down. And I'm just gonna keep rotating until I get to the size that I'm looking for. Again, that's an 1/8 inch to a 1/4 inch thick. All right, I'm gonna compare this to my tart pan. That should definitely fit. So now I'm ready to get this crust into the tart pan. So now it's time for me to get this pâte brisée dough into my tart pan. I'm going to use the rolling pin to help me lift it up so I don't break the dough that I've taken all this effort to roll. All right, I think that should be all good. The dough is like all in all the nooks and crannies of the tart pan. So now I'm gonna grab a fork and dock the pie crust. And that just means that I'm gonna poke all these little holes in here, and that helps prevent the dough from inflating in the oven. Now the dough is docked, and there's just one last thing I'm gonna do to make sure that the dough doesn't inflate in the oven, and that's I'm gonna fill it up with some beans, so the weight of the beans will keep the dough from puffing up. But since I don't want beans in my pie dough, I'm gonna use a circle of parchment to protect the dough. That. And now I'm just gonna scoop some beans into here. And you really wanna fill up the tart pan all the way so there's lots of weight from the beans, making sure that the dough doesn't inflate. Okay, so now this tart pan has the pâte brisée in it. I've taken all the measures I can take to prevent the dough from like puffing up in the oven, and it's ready to go in the oven. Okay, now I'm ready to get this tart pan into the oven. I'm gonna put it on a sheet tray just in case there's any butter leakage or anything like that. And my oven's preheated to 350 degrees, so I can just go ahead and get it in there. And I'm gonna let the pâte brisée bake for 10 to 15 minutes with the beans in there, and then I'll take the beans out and let it bake for another 10 to 15 minutes until it's done. Okay, so it's been about 15 minutes since I took the beans out of my pie dough, and I'm ready to get it out of the oven. So this is looking good. The dough is nicely browned all over, and it looks done. I'm just gonna let it cool completely, and then I'll be ready to fill it up with whatever my fillings are gonna be. Today, that's gonna be a vanilla pastry cream and some meringue. All right, I'm gonna fill this pâte brisée shell with some vanilla pastry cream. Gonna go in little circles. all around the pie. And now that the pastry cream is in the pie shell, I'm gonna smooth it out so I have a nice even layer all around the pie. And I'm smoothing it out with an offset spatula. So I'm gonna pipe all the way around this with some meringue to finish off the pie. And I'm using a star tip to pipe the meringue. And that's our pie. Now I'm just going to blowtorch this meringue to make it toasty. All right, now I'm going to cut a slice of this delicious pie. And I'm going to wipe my knife in between each cut so that I get nice clean layers in the pie. All right, lift the piece of pie out. And there we have it. Thanks for joining us for this tutorial on Pâte Brisée. You can make this pie your own by filling it with chocolate pastry cream or topping it differently, maybe with some berries, strawberries or raspberries, or maybe with whipped cream instead of meringue. Thanks for watching.